Rush, we'll take your calls straight ahead. Let us go to William in Douglasville, Georgia. William, you're live on the Rush Limbaugh Show. Great to have you.
Yeah, Mark, thank you. Hey, Clinton's email server. I'm a retired Air Force communications specialist, 30 years. If these emails, and there's all kinds of terms being floated around, if these are emails that she generated based on information from inside of her head, there's going to be no classification. It's going to be the same thing as her discussing things in public. If there is classified information on her computer, that's an entirely different thing. Here's why. Flash drives on any kind of government computer, you stick it in there, it locks the computer and people are alerted. The CD-DVD function on government classified computers, at least for the DOD, is removed, the hardware is removed, and the software is disabled. Classified emails, you cannot forward classified emails to an unclassified system. So if there's any information of a classified nature, like I'm talking briefings, memos, letters, then it was illegally and deliberately, and people had to go way around security procedures to do it, which also brings up one other thing. She's issued classified personal devices. I know she is. She's got communications devices installed in her house by the State Department for her to do her business. And whenever she flies on an Air Force aircraft with a comm team with a robust comm suite. So why would she have any classified information if she does on a personal server? You really have to go around security procedures in order to get classified information on an unclassified computer. And I can tell you this, if it was anybody from the DOD, everything in their house would have been confiscated, and they probably would have held in confinement while this investigation was going on. Right. That's my take.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, just to clarify one point you said there, if you've got an email that is marked as classified, and you attempt to forward it to someone who is not meant to receive that, if you're on a government computer, it won't actually send that thing.
That's
if
true.
You're doing it
classified computers and there's unclassified, and some people have both. But if you have a classified email and you're trying to forward it to either .org, .com, or an unclassified .mil, the system won't allow it. You can't do that.
Right.
So she's got classified information. Then either hard copies were made, they were scanned and then uploaded. I mean, I'm sure there are ways around it, but because of all the problems we had with the problems of flash drives a couple of years ago, or thumb drives, and that kid who was making copies, he was an intelligence specialist. He was, made like I don't know how many DVDs or CDs with all this classified information. That's why all these new security procedures are in place. Even if there's any classified if there's emails that she sat down and just started generating, there's going to be no classification on it. It's the same thing as her getting on a telephone or talking in public and divulging classified information. That's just stupidity and no-no. But if there is hard classified information on there that was generated by either some kind of government source, then she didn't do it by herself. She had help, and it was deliberate. You cannot accidentally have it on there. And I'd be very curious to see whether it's something that was hard copied, scanned, and then loaded up, or if it was electronically put on there. Then we've got bigger problems.
No, I understand that. Her thing now is that, it's where she's talking about things that are she's talking about things that are classified before she sees them, which it seems to me is slightly a dishonest way of looking at it. Because if you're in charge.
If you and I sat down for a briefing, and they're going to say this briefing is classified, secret, confidential, whatever. You don't just kind of, it's classified now. They would ask you don't after classify things. You redact stuff, but you don't say, that information we gave you a couple months ago was unclassified. It's classified now. Well, then that negates the whole point.
Yeah, no, and presumably if you're the chief foreign affairs official of the United States, as you're generating it, you have a broad sense as to the level of classification of what it is you're talking about when you're emailing Huma Abedin back and forth, don't you?
Yes. Now, to be fair, a lot of people in high places, they don't worry about the weeds. They have staff people to help them out. They essentially give them, here's what you really need. They take care of all the classification stuff. They just say, sir, ma'am, would you read this, sign it, yes, no, and they give them the highlights, and they give them just the high points of it. But, coming up through, or as long as she's been in government, as many briefings she's got to know the difference between confidential, secret, top secret, what's for official use only, what's to be released. She's coming out of this like she's some kind of ignorant babe of the woods. And that's why I'm sitting here, and a lot of people that I know, we're all military, ex-military, are sitting there going, are you kidding me? We get young people who they inadvertently do something wrong, and they've gotten more punishment than other people, and that's what frosts me about this. But she's counting on a lot of people not knowing how things work, so she can. And the media, you can tell they're Googling this stuff before they go onto the news. They don't know the difference between a lot of this, and that's why I keep hearing. My question is: are we talking emails that she generated? Or are we talking information on her server? Because there's a huge difference between the two, and I think a lot of people reporting this really don't know exactly what they're reporting.
Well, let's just explore that a minute, William, because look, she's getting stuff on her. For a start, the 55,000 pages she turned over aren't enough for a 4-year term as Secretary of State. She said she basically deleted half that were about yoga and bridesmaids for Chelsea's wedding. So we're asked to believe that there's equivalent numbers of emails for yoga and Chelsea's wedding as there were for all the business as Secretary of State. Now, you know as well as I do that in this people will be emailing to her briefing papers, there will be PDFs, there will be Word files, there will be various other types of attachments that are going to be kept on that same server. So the server surely does it's not just emails, there's surely other material on that server, is there?
If it is a server that she bought for personal use, she cannot put government stuff on it. It's a difference between her doing, say, a performance report. Right. Okay, you're doing an unclassified performance report on people work on you. Okay, that's one thing. You can do that. But she's issued devices from the State Department for her to do official government classified work. Now, if she's emailing someone on her Clinton server about a dinner or a banquet or something like that, or we're going to have, some social function, okay, I can see that. That's okay. Yeah. But any government work, she's got communications people installing and taking care of things for her in her house. I'm just looking at what my
that sounds good. Thanks for clarifying that, because that was one of the interesting points about it. That's William in Douglasville, Georgia. We got to run. We got an EIB Profit Center coming up, and then more of your calls straight ahead on the Rush Limbaugh Show. Mark Steyn in for Rush.